Thank you for staying with us. As conversations around constitutional reform gain momentum, a growing number of Nigerians are calling for a system that truly reflects the country's diversity. At the forefront of these demands are women, youth, and especially persons with disabilities, groups that say they have long been underrepresented in governance. For persons with disabilities, the issue goes beyond representation. It is about recognition, access, and equal opportunities. Advocates argue that despite existing legal frameworks, PWDs continue to face structural barriers that limit their participation in politics and decision-making processes. They're now pushing for clearer constitutional provisions to guarantee inclusion, ranging from reserved seats in legislative bodies to stronger enforcement of accessibility laws and political participation rights. Supporters say such reforms would not only promote fairness, but also strengthen democracy by ensuring that no group is left behind. Tonight, we examine these demands and the broader implications of some of these conversations. Joining the program is CEO, TAF Africa. Dr. Eppele, thank you very much for joining me on the program. Thank you.
Thank you, Jumoke, for having me. Thank you.
Dr. Eppele, if you can hear me, you said there's a clear gap between policy and reality, and Nigerians need to understand what is at stake. And, this reminds me of the fact that every time we have this conversation, expectedly we should have made some progress. But if Nigeria's constitution promises equality, yet millions of persons with disabilities say they are effectively invisible in governance, where exactly is the constitution failing them?
I think, Jumoke, I will start by making a very bold statement, and I'll give you some statistics to back it. So my question tonight is simple. Is our constitution a mirror that reflects all Nigerians, or a screen that hides 30 million of us? I hope the framers of the constitution and those who are working towards the amendments can answer me this question. It's unfortunate. It will shock you to, and I was shocked because I'd never done that research until I sat down, that there is zero mention of disability, persons with disability, in the entire Constitution. Zero mention. Let me give you some statistics. It's postulated that we're about 230 million. 230 million. The same guesstimate has it that 35 million of 230 million are persons with disability. So you have 35 million leaving 195 million as people per se without disability. The percentage of 35 million of persons with disability is 15.22%. 15.22%. The global statistics is 1.3 billion, 16%. So 15.22%. If they fail to vote for anybody, will lose an election. And so we have a document, a legal document called the Constitution, which goes beyond just a legal document. The Constitution is the oxygen of the entire nation, is the blueprint that defines every strata of governance and the life of the people in any given nation. And yet, we don't have a mere mention of this critical demography of people that constitute 15.22%. That's an aberration. That is something that we shouldn't treat with levity. And I want to commend your station because it was just only this afternoon that I engaged. And here we are talking about this.
All right, Dr. Eppele. Just because there are currently very few PWDs in elective positions, the argument has been, should Nigeria be considering, constitutionally backed reserved seats for persons with disabilities? I mean, I also remember that the 10th National Assembly leadership is proposing 5% reserved representation for PWDs. Another argument is quotas undermine merit. So how do we strike a balance?
Listen, forget about whatever you hear that is being proposed. I have the document of the current amendment, zero mention of disability. I have read the Constitution, zero mention of disability. So we should stop talking about paper presentation of information to practice of the information in real time. I mean, take for instance, I believe section 42, that speaks to human rights. The current Constitution has no mention of disability at all. And oftentimes the lawyers will put up the argument that, listen, it covers everybody. It is not the same as when a particular segment of people or individuals are mentioned. You can't say that the Constitution covers everybody and you don't mention women. It's going to affect them. I mean, I have some very, very, surprising revelation about this Constitution. Are you aware that this Constitution does not give legal impetus to even the Disability Act? It does not. It does not create that enforceable pathway for the Disability Act. So we are talking about a very important issue that will absolutely leave behind this critical demography, leaving them and bringing them to a place where they will be denied justice. And so it's a matter of life and death for the persons with disability. If we are not captured, our aspirations, our desires, our lives, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not give us that impetus, and we are generalized. We are put in descriptive phases or phrases, then it doesn't make sense. Yes. We don't have that sense of belonging.
And sadly, we've been on this for a while. But Dr. Eppele, we'll come back to that in a moment. JAMB exams are ongoing, including special sessions for persons with disabilities next week. And you tell me there is almost no awareness or national conversation about their participation. Who should be held accountable for this lack of awareness you are highlighting?
Well, Jumoke, thank you for that very important question. Who should be held accountable? All of us, including the media. You know, the truth is, thank God for the life of Professor Luyede that is pushing for this special examination. But a lot of people are not aware of the existence of this wonderful structured intervention. A lot of people are not aware of it.
But to what extent, when you say all of us, Dr. Eppele, to what extent should JAMB be responsible for amplifying these special sessions? Do you think JAMB is doing enough, or these accommodations treated more like an afterthought?
Well, you know, JAMB had added the issue of joint equal opportunity examination, which is what will start on Monday. In their communication strategy, it's reflected. But the thing is, it's not enough. It's not enough. They don't have, I don't think there's enough resources, funding, human capital to actually drive this. And oftentimes, when they wants opportunities in the media. Very few media houses are really willing to open up, apart from the political side of things, or questioning, or trying to drill the chief executive of JAM, you know. But in terms of carrying out the social work that JAM does, they will ask for money. Most media houses,
I take exception to Dr. Eppele. I take exception to that. I mean, if JAMB is not doing its job, why do you have to blame the media?
Because you're generators, you need to pay your staff. Yeah.
So how many?
So the point is,
Please go ahead.
Go ahead.
I wanted to ask, how many PWD candidates are sitting for JAMB this year, Dr. Eppele?
Well, I don't want to misquote. I don't have the actual figure, but you can be sure that there are thousands of persons with disability that are signing in for these exams. Let me tell you one of the pitfalls of this lack of awareness. For instance, my own community, persons with albinism, you know, there are still many of them today that they do not know that when they are filling the form, they have to designate and tick that they have albinism, which is a form of disability. Many of them don't know. There are many blind candidates who probably had asked somebody to fill the form for them, and they fill the form without ticking that they are blind. If you don't do that, that information, when it comes back to JAM, you will not be captured. So you will find yourself in the general examination centers and platform, which will not give you the concessions you will get as a person with disability. You know,
so Dr.
Eppele,
if that data isn't publicly available, and that's the number of PWDs candidates sitting for JAM this year, if that data isn't available, doesn't that reinforce the invisibility we're talking about? And I think these numbers should also be important to you. As an advocate, these are the numbers you should be working with. But have you interacted with candidates preparing for these special sessions? What are they telling you? Do they feel supported or largely left on their own? Dr. Eppele, are you there? Dr. Eppele, if you can hear me, how many earlier I asked you about the number of candidates, PWDs candidates sitting for JAM this year, but according to you, you do not have the data. So, I mean, and I'm saying this because you just blamed the media, which I take exception to. So I'm saying if that data isn't publicly available, doesn't that reinforce the invisibility we're talking about? And I think these numbers should also be very important to you. So also, have you spoken to some of these persons? What are they telling you? All right, let's take a break at this moment, and when we return, we'll continue this conversation with Dr. Eppele. Thank you for staying with us, everyone. This is Politics Tonight. Constitution review: 35 billion Nigerians, disability gaps in the Nigerian constitution. Women PWDs demand inclusion. And we're speaking with Dr. Eppele, CEO TAF Africa. Dr. Eppele, thank you very much for staying with us on the program. Have you interacted with some of these candidates? What are they telling you? Do they feel supported or largely left on their own?
Well, you know, we get calls every now and then, and we do our utmost best to give them whatever support that we can in terms of guidance. But if you did not fill out the form that specifically says that, you know, you are a person with albinism, you are someone that is blind, if you did not give that information from the beginning, then it becomes difficult to be able to ensure that you are sent to the centers where your needs will be met. And so the critical issue is not having that information to know that when you're filling out the form, you have to designate your type of disability so that we can ensure that you go to the right center and ensure that the right resources that you need to participate fully in the examination will be provided.
Right.
So the major problem is awareness. Of course, there's been issue of concession where a person with disability will get some sort of refund for how much or what it costs that individual to get involved in either buying the forms or filling out the forms or paying for it. You know, so it's a huge. It takes a lot to put together this kind of intervention. Logistics arrangement, hotel arrangement, oftentimes some gifts are given to them, the tablets that they need. And of course, don't forget we have to hire people to assist these individuals in the examination for them to be part of this whole process. So it takes a lot. It's not a mere exercise.
But Dr. Eppele, I'm sure you have direct access.
We plan for a whole year.
2 questions before I let you go tonight. I'm sure you have direct access to these policy makers. What has been the conversation you've been having with them, especially about fixing this awareness gap?
Yes, I do have some limited access.
So if you had full access.
I don't have access to the Minister of Education, for instance,
so
but I do have access to the.
Please go ahead.
Say that again, Jumoke.
If you had a direct access
to
these policymakers today, what immediate steps would you demand to fix this awareness gap?
First of all, I will tell the Ministry of Education to vote more resources for this kind of exercise. I will tell the minister to most probably get involved, by identifying with these centers. You don't know what that will do to the life of persons with disabilities, seeing the minister come to the centers of this examination. Some past ministers have done so. I think this current minister probably had done so, but not in my center. But however, I agree with he can be in all the centers, but there's a need for that political will to be demonstrated in implementation. There's a need for, if you ask me, the need to make education free, absolutely free for persons with disability. I think, Jumoke, it's also important to touch on this student loan. And I have spoken to Mr. Sawyer.
Okay.
And he did promise to get back to me, and I haven't heard from him.
All right, we'll have that conversation some other time, Dr. Eppele. Sadly, we're out of time. But quickly, if this constitutional review ends without any concrete provision,